This pizzeria right here, it's an anomaly. It raises so many questions, yet it's mostly overlooked by a fandom that pays so much attention to even the smallest of details within the series. And for one, I must say Undertale and Deltarune actually deserved this kind of attention. Every named character within these games, even Gaster and the annoying dog, has nuance, personality, an extensive backstory, and understandable goals and motivations. The only two exceptions are, guessed it, the Everyman and Icy. Last year, Toby pretty much admitted during the anniversary stream that he knows how similar the pizzeria is to a certain other franchise. However, that would be a shallow comparison, as it operates by completely different rules regarding its lore and characters, and a William Afton in this multiverse wouldn't make much sense. After all the information I've gathered, I can confidently say that this place will indeed be important for the future, and today I will share my theory that Icy might be this series' very own Gus Frame. Now, back in part 4, I wanted to bring up Burger Pants potentially being the knight, and there were a couple of reasons. He was one of Toby's earliest designs in this series, hinting at his importance. He shares a familiar line with Spamton, under the knight topic nonetheless. He is also a cynic who hates his job, and in chapter 1 he described his co-workers as the Rogues Gallery. But why would he become the Roaring Knight? At first I thought he could be working for Noelle's mother, but now I know that if he is the knight, then the rest of the staff is in on it too. There is also another story from chapter 1 I would like to discuss from a new point of view. Back when Des was still around, Chris claimed that Icy is real and eats children. At first I just shrugged it off as another prank, but looking at it deeper, it either means that some other kid also went missing, Childrake being a possible candidate, or it is an urban legend. But what is Icy's plan exactly? At first I had no clue either, that is until I saw the pain scale in the hospital. That's when I remembered that Icy always smiles. He never uses other facial expressions, and while smiling means a bunch of different things in these games, the scale specifically stated that when he's in pain, he's also sweating. This is too specific to be a coincidence. Wake up and smell the pain is a famous error message in Undertale, and the checking option for Spamton Neo reads, wake up and taste the pain. The only other instance in these games where the word pain came up was with the Thorn Ring. Wearer takes damage from pain, and Noelle receives pain to get stronger. This makes sense though, as sweating is often associated with training and getting stronger. Before moving on to the actual theory, I'd like to make a small correction about the vessel. Back then I said that it could be corrupted, but I was too fixated on the idea of it being this game's version of Kara. However, both Frisk and Kara were humans, and had the potential to become corrupted. Why would Gaster of all people let us make a vessel for ourselves with his machine, if he knows we could use it for evil? Unless of course he installed a fail-safe. And the one who interfered has placed us in Chris's body specifically to remove that from the equation. All of this speculation leads to one of two conclusions. The knight is either employed by Icy, or opposes him. Let's start with the assumption that Burger Pants is the knight, and work our way from there. His job provides him a solid alibi, and he could be tempted by an offer of enough money to leave town, so he could fulfill his lifelong dream of becoming an actor. Also, if Noelle is specifically targeted by the knight, that not only would explain the pace of creating the dark fountains, but their placement as well. She almost fell into a dark world back in Chapter 1, but Alfie sent Chris in her stead, and the cyberworld's fountain was opened right next to her. Almost as if they want Noelle to become the angel of death. The other employee worth noting is the warrior, who, according to Toby, never wears his uniform. He also constantly acts like a lunatic, and he apparently had an accident recently. Once again, according to Toby, he burned his hands with pizza sauce, or something. Lastly, the purple guy, who might even be Susie's father, was seen around town wearing a mask, and he even tried getting into the mayor's office with a suspicious briefcase. Burger Pants said that he isn't even sure if the guy works at the pizzeria. Now let's put all of that aside for now, and go with the previous assumption from Part 4, that Father Alvin is actually the knight. What would be Icy's role then? I would answer this question with another. Who is the mysterious person who derailed both Jevils and Spamton's life? We know that the last one Spamton spoke to on the phone was Gaster, but he was not the same as the mysterious caller who already vanished by then. Spamton also knew about the Neoform and the Shadow Crystal beforehand, according to the butlers. Now, there is still a good chance that it's Mike, and he could be working for Icy. That would also make him a more cunning and calculative antagonist than the two monarchs in the previous chapters. Now you might be asking, how does driving two random people insane benefit Icy? The answer is, in an indirect way. Deltarune's evil route feels less like a mindless slaughter, and more like it was planned out by someone who's practical. Corrupting Jevil has put Sham in the right position to start collecting the shadow crystals, while corrupting Spamton has put you in the right position to get your hands on the Thorn Ring. Again, we don't know what Icy's end goal is, but it may be overthrowing Gaster, and if turning Noelle into the Angel of Death is part of the plan, then he could also be using you as a means to an end. Your choices don't matter. A similar statement to Undertale's Kill or Be Killed. And if you've been paying close attention to the normal routes in the first two chapters, both Susie's and Noelle's character arcs were about disproving said statement. When Susie first fell into the dark world, she didn't listen to anyone, thinking that she can do whatever she wants without consequences. When she found out she couldn't brute force her way through everything, she simply teamed up with the bad guys. However, she started growing closer to Lancer, and later to her fellow Delta warriors, and when she realized he betrayed her, it resulted in a confrontation awfully similar to the Birdley fight in the Snow Grave route. You, as the player, were not in control there. She was the one who chose to spare him, and promised that she won't kill his dad either. At the end of Chapter 1 she stood up for Chris, and even managed to defeat the king, either through trusting Rousey or Lancer. Up until Chapter 2, Noelle lacked the courage to speak for herself, as everyone else either ignored her, or just shut her up before she could speak. A similar problem arose in the cyber world, as Queen thought she knew best for Noelle, who in turn had no saying on the matter. The only option she had was running away, and after getting captured again, she silently resisted, but cracked immediately when her friends were used as a bargaining chip. However, after continuous reinforcement from both Chris and Susie, she finally had the strength to speak with her mind and heart. In both cases, proving that their choices matter, were the key to beating the monarchs. This leaves you, the player, to break the strings of fate. In both the normal and the evil route, Spamton said that you can achieve freedom. Remember how in Undertale you couldn't reach the true ending without reloading your save file, and therefore using time travel at least once? In this game, there is no time traveling, but the objects tied to a similar power, parallel universes, are the shadow crystals. At this point we can safely assume that they will be the key, to either save everyone or destroy them. And given the theme of this game, wouldn't it make sense for a tyrannical force to be the main villain? Undertale, Song Number 71. The emotional core of this game. A somber ballad. It is obvious the Deltarune will have one such song as well, but I think that one's purpose won't be the same. Undertale is a tale, a bedtime story. Deltarune is an epic, a legend whispered among shadows. I mean, let's face it. A little kid falls into an underground kingdom of magical creatures and tries to find a way home. Even if there is more to it, it isn't on the same level as the Delta Warriors trying to stop the apocalypse. Despite the massive fandom, and the multiverse that Undertale has spawned, it was originally just a spin-off game, and only came out first because it was the easier one to make. Deltarune was always meant to be the main game, the magnum opus. As I'm recording this, it has already been confirmed by Toby, that the next batch of chapters won't release this year. Until the next season, it's time for me to work on my other projects. Thank you for sticking with me for all 7 videos. But for now,